Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a Touratech Crash bar install on this 750 GS. It is very cold in this garage and I have no choice but to keep wearing shorts because I am still on this cast. Now for a short entertainment segment, watch me move this bike while my other leg is on the knee scooter that keeps rolling back and forth because my garage is actually on a hill and it keeps wanting to move backwards. This has been a great workout so far. Here's the crash bars I'm installing and the parts that it came with. So you're gonna need a T55 Torx and I think it's a number 4 hex. So I don't know if it's called a 4mm, but it's a number 4 hex to do this job. So now, to make your life easier for those who have big hands, I have small hands and I've installed crash bars in this bike before. If you guys watched my previous video, I did the Hepco and Becker crash bar install on this bike. I didn't need to remove the fairings, but for those with really big fingers, it might be easier for you guys if you move the fairings. It's just more work, and if I can do it without taking the fairings out, then why should I do it? Might be able to do it too. It just how do you say it? It's more of the finagling and being able to kind of work more intricately with your fingers. It's just going to be a little bit more tedious for some people. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. Because if you do choose the route where you disassemble everything, so you're going to have to start with the seat. You're going to have to remove your seat. Then you're going to have to remove your tank, the tank guard. This tank, I don't know what you call it. It covers the tank. Then you're gonna have to remove this plate here, and then you're gonna have to remove this. Before you can remove this, you have to remove this. So every single piece has a few screws. It's very easy to do. It's just tedious. Few screws and clips. So be careful when you're popping them out. So you make sure that you remove the screws first, and then you pop it out gently so you don't break the clips. Okay, so my plan is, instead of removing the fairings, I'm going to work just under the bike here, which is, like I said, it's gonna be a little cramped, but it worked for me the last time, and it's just less work than removing a bunch of fairings. So I'm going to start by removing this fan shroud here, and you're gonna need a T30 Torx to remove these screws. So you're gonna need to remove, let's see if I can get the lighting a little better. There's 3 screws. There's one right there, there's one right there, and then the third one's right there. So I'm gonna slowly move the camera out. Okay, so I want to talk about the next steps before I actually do it so that it's more clear. This is gonna be positioned like so. But before I put it in there, I wanted to show you guys how we're using the screws. So it came with all these bolts, and I'm gonna show you guys which is which, so it's not confusing if you got the same setup. So we have 13mm bolts with 4 spacers. So I'm gonna put the first spacers on the bolts. And for the 750 GS, you will need this spacer. If it's an 850 GS, you don't need it. Then we're gonna use these spacers right behind the nut. The orientation of this is going to be on the front of the bike. This is on the top of the bike. So sideways it's going to look like this. The short one goes right there, like that. The top one goes, my dolly doesn't have a lock, so I just keep rolling everywhere. The top one goes like this. Okay, so this is looking up from under towards the steering column, and you see this where I'm touching, this is the frame. So we're gonna hook it up onto here, and I'll show you what it looks like from the top of the bike. So you're gonna hook it up from the brake side of the bike like this. Like you're hanging it basically. And you want, there's a hole here where you would screw this in. So you want this to be lined up like that. It will be sitting like this once it's screwed in. And I'll show you guys what it looks like from the top. It's gonna be sitting like that. So this is what it's gonna look like on the top, and there's holes here, as you can see there. So you're gonna put it on the small hole. And you'll see, because and this is why the 750 GS needs the spacer, because in order for that little hole to line up with the hole here on the stainless steel, you're gonna have a little bit of space on the bottom where you're gonna need, you see where I'm moving it back and forth? Like moving it back, moving it forward. So you need a spacer right there in between. So I found that it's easier for me to work on these tight spaces with using just a box wrench or a ratcheting wrench like this, instead of using the socket wrenches, because there's not enough space. So this is the spacer I'm talking about that you need if you have a 750 GS. I'm doing a custom modification here because the bolts that they give you is not long enough. It's doable, you can install it that way, but it's way easier if you use a longer bolt. So I'm basically just using a bolt this is the bolt that they want you to use. So a little less than 2" versus the bolt that I'm gonna use. Let me just remove this nut so I can show you guys. Which is a little below 3 inches. You can't go any longer than that because you're gonna run out of space to work on the frame, and I'll show you guys right now what I'm talking about. You see how it's resting right there? It's gonna go through this small hole right here. There's an oblong hole for the 750 GS right here. It's gonna go in the small hole right there. So I wanna simulate it and show you guys what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna remove the hanger for now. Or actually, maybe I can work around it. So you're gonna have to make it go through there, but I'm holding the camera right now, so I'm just gonna do a simulation. You see how it really helps when you have small hands. I'm just going around the wires and stuff. It goes right through there, the frame, all the way down. If you use the Touratech bolt, you're gonna have to make sure that you're able to hold the nut in between this frame right here, which is harder for me, so I am just making my life easier. Now, if you don't have this bolt laying around and you have to go hunt for it in Home Depot, that might be easier for you or not, so it's up to you. But you can also, another technique is you can also plug the bolt from the middle going up, and you can have the nut out here, but I like having the bolt end right here. Now, if you want to get the same deal, it's basically the same 10mm bolt. You just need the length has to be 2 2.75 inches at the most. Do not get longer than 3 inches because once you get down here, you're gonna run out of room to be able to work on it. Right there. See, the benefits of working on cars and bikes for many years is that I have an array of nuts, bolts, and screws and washers and etc. laying around in the garage. Sometimes I get lucky that I have everything I need, but there are other times I still need to run down to Home Depot to get the right bolt. I'm actually getting a lot of exercise, just, you know, basically doing pistol squats with having one leg. Showing you guys up and down on this bike. It's a lot of work. Don't forget to put anti-seize on your threads. I'm just screwing in the nut. I'm now working on the bottom end here, so I'm sliding in the spacer right there in between the plate and part of the frame. And then the stock bolt that they want you to use for the top, you're actually gonna end up using this for the side, because the side one with the spacer is too short, so you can't use it. The ratcheting wrench really becomes handy in tight spaces. So that's what it looks like from the top. And as you can see, I'm gonna tilt the screen here so you can see that the length of the screw goes all the way down. Okay, so now we're gonna start with the right side. You have to remove the stock M12 bolt on the right side first. Mine is already removed because I removed my previous crash bars. Save that bolt, save the OEM bolt from the engine, because you're going to use that same M12 bolt not on this side but on the left side of the bike. The Touratech kit came with this M12 bolt. Okay, so the tube right here, you're just gonna slide this one inside and line this up with where you're gonna put the bolt in. And it takes some wiggling to get it in there. Now it's time to use these smaller screws that they provide with the washer and locking nut. I've decided to use my own crash bar engine bolt from my previous crash bar, and for you guys, use the provided M12 bolt by Touratech. I will use the washer that they provide me, so I'm gonna put the washer right there. This spacer goes in between. Right, this goes right there. You just have to move this a little bit. There you go. Okay, now we're moving on to the left side of the bike, which I will also call as the clutch side of the bike. And as you can see here, no need to remove any panels. You just forced it a little bit in and you'll be able to get there. You're gonna use this spacer and squeeze it in there. You're gonna wanna squeeze the, kind of slide this one in first before you line up the front, because of the fairing here, because there's a fairing that you wanna, there you go, like that. You can line this up and it goes in smoothly. This is the part where you use the stock M12 bolt that you took out from the right side, and now we're gonna use it on the left side. Don't mind me because I am reusing my old crash bar bolts. So if you're using the stock engine bolt, you will need the T55 Torx to tighten. We're gonna be using the leftover little screws that they provide here. We're gonna use the locking nut and the spacer that it came with. This is gonna go behind the tube. So the bolt goes in front to back, and the spacer and the locking nut on the other side. I am going to tighten these screws first before we tighten the back. So what you're gonna need is a 4mm hex. The other side, the nut is 10mm. So I'm just gonna place this behind here. I'm gonna place this right here and I'm just gonna tighten it. Wait. Okay, so I set it up to 66 foot-pounds. And this is the best angle to go, is under the top crash cage, in between the engine cage and the tank, and then you push this plastic a little bit and you can get, yeah, there you can get access. That's all I have for this install video. I hope you guys like the video. If you do, please like and subscribe. And I'll put a link in the description box for these crash cages. I just want to hear from you guys what crash cage you guys use for your GS. And I think that's it. I'll see you guys at the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.